Hello Pokemon fans, this is Pro Bokanu back today to bring you another battle. It will be a standard UU match against a person by the name of Hack He Must. I am the little girl on the far side today with my little nice looking female UU team. I actually noticed that most of these Pokemon look like a female, but this is a UU team that I was using last year, and that should give you an indication that this battle is from last year, but I remember saving this for a particular reason because it's an example of remembering the mechanics of the game. That's probably giving you more indications that certain funky things are going to happen in this game, but that doesn't matter. The point is, looking at my opponent's team, kind of scary. Sharpedo is a threat no matter what. If he gets some speed up, he can do a lot of damage if you lose your walls. Now, you do notice that I have a Miltank. The Miltank was the cover for the fire weakness between the Roserade and the Froslass, and pretty much nothing else really wants to take the hit, so the Thick Fat is appreciative. I probably will run Sap Sipper from now on Miltank, but I don't use this team anymore. But generally speaking, with Miltank, you know, Sap Sipper just makes it a little bit better than using another person with Thick Fat is equally effective. So, other than that, I mean, he's got his own Froslass. I just gotta make sure he doesn't set up too many layers on me if he's got the spikes. Gligar's pretty much handled. Kingdra's gonna be a little difficult. Gonna have to save my walls and play around that, especially keep Mienshao around with the Fake Out. Shaman, don't know what type it is yet, neither do I know about the Rotom Heat, but back at this time, I'm pretty sure that 9 out of 10 of them were Scarf, and I'm pretty sure most of them are still Scarf or Specs, so. In the ways of leads, I figured Mienshao would be the healthiest lead to lead off with since I do have the Fake Out. However, my opponent leads off with a Froslass, so I can't fake that out. So he's going to go for the spikes. I'm just going to not screw around, go straight for the Stone Edge. Turns out he does not have the Focus Sash. Maybe he has a Life Orb, but he also might have the Mental Herb. So either way, going to take that out right away. Now, this thing is most likely Scarf since he sent it in, so I'm going to send out the Utter Beauty. I love that name. That's one good name I'm proud of. Utter Beauty. And he's going to go for the Overheat. It misses, but he is going to switch out knowing that I probably switched this thing in having Thick Fat. I'm just going to go for the Body Slam on anything that wants to come in. His Gligar comes in, no problem. I can't do anything but paralyze it anyways with this team. So we're just going to exchange rocks now, and at this point, I'm just going to switch out, go into my Froslass and try and threaten him out. Now, notice that I'm kind of doing this haphazardly. He also goes for Taunt, so I'm just going to go straight for the Ice Beam. Now, this was kind of rash on my part sending in Froslass to begin with. I know I need Froslass to take out the Gligar, but at this point, since his Rotom Heat is up, it's kind of just, you know, it's a very risky scaring tactic. And, you know, this was kind of obvious going back into Miltank, so he's going to go for the nice Volt Switch, go out into Shaman. Now, I figured, okay, I don't know what type this is, let's just leave in Miltank, you know, it's not really going to do much more. Oh god, Seed Flare with Life Orb, ow. So, obviously can't take that hit, so now what I can do is go into my specially defensive Roserade, take a little bit of damage there, but I can threaten him out with the HP Fire, except he's not scared, he's going to go for his HP Fire, and I'm going to go for my HP Fire, and as you can tell, they're actually pretty doing around the same amount of damage. He probably has Attack Investment, or Special Attack Investment, so now what I'm going to do is actually go into Happy Slappy, mainly because I know he's going to go for the HP Fire a second time. I can most likely take it, and then I can go for the Fake Out to get more damage off of him, plus his Life Orb will be racking up. Makes the excellent move, though, which is pretty obvious, goes into Gligar. I could have gone for HP Ice, but I didn't want to risk it on the off chance that he maybe predicted me to think that way, but what I can do now is go into Bubble Fist. He's going to go for the Taunt again. I don't know why. Maybe he predicted my Mew or my Roserade, but what this does mean is I can just go for a free Superpower on the off chance he wants to go into his Kingdra, and he actually just goes into Shaman to be Death Water. Now, he does indeed go into the Kingdra. Now, I found this to be funky. I'm like, I don't know why he'd want to take even a -1 from a banded thing, from a banded Azumarill, so I'm going to stay in and go for Superpower. Turns out this guy's got Substitute, and luckily for me, a -1 still breaks his sub, so it just seemed kind of fishy, and now this is when he starts getting risky. I have to switch out on a -2. Going to the Jack of all trades, which is my physically defensive wall on this team. Back when Mew was in UU, I just realized that. Mew is in OU now, but he goes for DD, and then he crits me with Outrage. Crud. So, that sucks. So what I have to do now is go into Happy Slappy, take a little bit more damage, and I'm going to have to go for the Fake Out just to get some extra damage off, on top of the fact that he has Life Orb, and he actually does get the 2-turn Confusion, which is lucky for him. He can get himself out right now. Unlucky for him because he will not be able to continue to damage my team. But he's going to go into Gligar. I believe I make a switch as well and go into my Roserade on the off chance that he did want to keep attacking. Kind of make this thing the Death Fodder. Now, it's really difficult with 2 layers up here because my team is not healing enough, and it has to keep switching. He's doing a really good job keeping switch pressure on me. So I'm going to put his Gligar to sleep. Don't even care. I'm going to go into Bubble Fist now and just threaten this thing up. But he actually makes a good move. Switches out. Goes into his Kingdra. Now, okay, now this is where it gets to the point where, again, plays get questionable. I have a couple of options here. Bubble Fist can take out Gligar, but so can Froslass. Sharpedo, I probably want to save Azumarill because he can most likely take a hit. I mean, not at this range. Probably could kill him off at this range, but I mean, having the prospect of an Aqua Jet plus Mienshau's Fake Out would be nice to, you know, threaten the Sharpedo with. And then I also have the Roserade, which is at low health. So, looking back on this about 6 months later, or 5 months later, I shouldn't have probably left this thing in and go for Aqua Jet. I thought it would kill, but I probably should have assumed it wouldn't. So I lose my Azumarill, and now this is where it gets weird. He kills himself off, which is fine. But notice Froslass taking this damage. Now, my plan originally was, okay, well, I've got this thing, and what's going to end up happening is I'm going to take enough damage where I'm just going to go down to 1%, because between rocks and spikes, they do 13 or 12.5% each, which means I should be left with 1 HP, since I know, you know, that's how much it does, and I have an odd number. Now, I predicted him to go for the Protected with his Sharpedo, so I go for the Destiny Bond, which means he cannot attack, and he's going to be staying there for a while. So he's actually going to go into Gligar. I believe I go for the Shadow Ball on the off... No, I go for the Destiny Bond again, but on the next turn I'm going to go for Shadow Ball, in case he was trying to bait me to go for the Ice Beam and then switch into Rotom Heat. But at this point, I figured, you know what, Rotom Heat is at a low HP, but either way, good to be safe. But now comes the mistake. Here comes Rotom Heat, as you can see. Would have liked taking a Shadow Ball, or an Ice Beam for that matter. I switch out. Now, look at the HP bar that I had with Froslass, 25%. I figured, come back in, 1% HP, I'll live with 1 HP, I can threaten him. Once again, because I'm faster, I will have the Destiny Bond, okay? So I'm going to fire this thing off to the Volt Switch. He's going to go back, which means that, you know, Rotom Heat, if it comes back in, it's going to die if I'm faster than it, but I mean, he'll be faster than me since he's Scarf. But now Sharpedo comes in, I'm going to send in Froslass to do the same thing with Destiny Bond. Except I forget that I'm Ice type, and I take 25% from Stealth Rocks. I remember this really specifically, that I forgot about Stealth Rocks doing double the damage because I was weak to rocks, and I was so pissed because I had the plan. I was going to deal with Sharpedo like that. Now, having shown you that play, that was an excellent match, Hack He Must. Comment, rate, and subscribe, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this battle. Now, looking at that play, looking back on this, what I should have done is probably foddered off Froslass because I knew Azumarill had a lot of utility to the team still. Would have been able to live, would have been able to do a lot of damage to a Sharpedo with a banded Aqua Jet. And then Rotom Heat would have also died. So, I should have foddered off Froslass, but, you know, in the moment it was like, yeah, I'm going to send this thing and kill him with a Destiny Bond, then I'm going to have Happy Slappy versus his 2% Rotom Heat. Nope, rocks. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a bitch. So, that's the game. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, ice types are weak to rocks. If I can teach you anything in the Pokemon world, it is to remember that ice is weak to rocks. And you'll get a giant surprise if you ever try to use an Articuno. But, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Until then, peace.